Hi, this is Daisy, and I'm recording this after the phone call that you're about to hear, and it's crazy. Please listen to it, because I need someone else to hear this. Okay? Please. Please listen. Hello again. This is Daisy Tanner, and you're listening to Voices from Nowhere. If you're hearing this, thanks for sticking around, assuming that you also listened to the prologue episode. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then I would recommend that you listen to that episode, because it has some context as to what this podcast is about. Our guest this episode is my old friend Sybil Hill.
Hi.
And her family has actually been living in Nowhere for almost as long as mine has.
Yeah, I remember that one of the first things we bonded over was hearing about both our families in, 5th grade history, or whatever.
So, I was wondering if you had any stories or old letters from that family, because I would love to hear them and give them a home on this podcast.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna be honest here. I just wanted to talk to you about normal things. I originally DM'd you because I just wanted to talk, and then you wanted me to tell some stories, but dude, I thought this was just something you were doing for fun. And I get into the call, and you're immediately like, hey, let's go. Sync the audio. Let's talk about history. We haven't talked in almost 2 years, but I guess you don't want to actually talk.
I didn't realize that that's what you wanted. You didn't tell me that you just wanted to talk again.
Okay, don't say just like that.
Well, I think I'm allowed to be kind of pissed that my friend doesn't care about this project.
I wasn't lying about that. I did want to tell a cool story about, history or whatever, but I don't know. My girlfriend would probably have a lot of interesting stories.
Oh, wow. I didn't know you had a girlfriend. That's nice.
Yeah, it's still sort of a new thing, but it's nice.
Is it okay if I ask how you met?
I guess we met at a Halloween party in 2019. My mom was in Maryland for 3 months for her job, and I went with her. It was until December, so for 90% of the first semester of that year, I was going to school in Maryland. So anyway, I made a sort of friend there, and they invited me to a Halloween party. At the actual party, I sort of lost track of them, so I was just sort of standing in the middle of the crowd, and I saw her, standing by some trees. It was an outdoor party next to an abandoned house that everyone thought someone was murdered in. We were edgy teenagers, and no neighbor was close enough to call the cops. So I see her, and I think, hey, she went really hard on her costume. It was all gathered with bows and other types of fabric. It was like a colonial-style dress, and she obviously really cared about the costume. So seeing as I only knew one thing about her, I went up to her and asked if she liked Hamilton. As I started talking to her, I realized that she had no idea what I was talking about. She knew about the historical figure, but not the musical, really? Her family was sort of traditionalist, I guessed, so I ended up talking to her that whole night about things I liked. I played her a few songs from Hamilton. I don't know, I just felt she needed to know about life. And her perspective on all of it was just so interesting. She had ideas about things I had never even thought about before. She was stunning. I don't know when our friendship became more. I guess it just sort of happened eventually.
Oh, what's her name?
Oh, yeah, her name is Hester.
So, how did she react to you moving back to Nowhere?
She took it well, surprisingly. Of course it was sad and it hurt for both of us, but she's more used to loss than I am. Of all the exits in her life, I was not the most dramatic one by far. We never really talked about her family, but I had the feeling that they were all the deaths, that is, were rough. And yeah, I had experienced my grandparents dying, but needing to leave like that so completely was hard.
But you guys are still together?
Oh, yeah, we stay in touch. I text her a lot. We just talk about how my classes are going, what the town is like. I once read her a chapter of my biology textbook. I don't think she cared about what I was actually saying. She was just listening to my voice. No one had ever seen her before. I mean, like, in the sense of seeing someone, like dating. Like, no one had ever dated her before, and, yeah.
Would it be too forward to ask if you could text her or video chat? Of course, only if it's okay with you two, but I would love to hear from her, even if she's not from nowhere.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun. She probably wouldn't mind, but okay. I wasn't being completely honest to you about her. She is real. This isn't like a Canadian girlfriend from another school thing or whatever. It's easier if I just show you.
Is that a...
Yeah. I think it's the lunate bone. It's at the bottom of your right hand near the wrist. Oh, also, we'll need this.
An Ouija board?
Yeah. Did you know they sell these in Target? This one is technically a Halloween decoration, but it still works.
Wait, what?
Remember how I said that I texted her? That's kind of true, but it's more like a summoning.
So, what? You just expect me to believe that your girlfriend is a ghost? And what, she gave you one of her bones as like a date gift or something?
No, I had to get the bone myself. She can't physically hold anything. I thought that if I had a piece of her with me, she would be able to move around more. She's sort of confined to the graveyard she was buried in, so...
Dude, what the hell? You just said that ghosts are real. How can you be so calm?
Okay, yeah, I wasn't at first. Once I realized I was actually talking to a colonial-era ghost, I was actually super freaked out. I left the party, like, right after I figured it out, but I had been having a really good conversation, so I came back a few days later.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't really believe you.
That's understandable. I've tried to tell people before, but it seems like I'm the only person who can actually see or hear her. I could try to summon her, ask her some questions about, like, other ghosts in town or something.
Fine.
Hester? Hey, babe. Yeah, my friend doesn't really believe that you're real, so I was hoping that you could do one of those information guess things.
Oh, of course, dear.
Yeah, she's gonna do it.
This place is loud, louder than usual. There's something keeping a lot of people here.
Apparently there are a lot of ghosts in nowhere.
Right, yeah, of course.
She's rather pushy, isn't she? You mentioned that your families knew each other, that they were actually friends, but I can't find either of them. The old friends. Typically, ancestors stay with their families or with new houses, but I don't think either are here. In truth, I'm not sure if there are actually a lot of us in nowhere. It's more like there is one body, like a whale or a sunken ship in the middle of this whole valley. A leviathan, inky and dark and just out of sight, but it is there. It feels familiar.
She says that our great-granddads are currently kicking it in the astral plane.
Oh, cool. What an obviously unfakeable thing to say. You should take this act on tour. I almost believe that you were listening to something for a second there.
Hey, don't be like that.
Like what? Healthily skeptical and unwilling to put up with this BS? This was a mistake. I shouldn't have done this. I hung up after that. I didn't hear the third voice in real time, but you heard it. Right now, on this recording. Somehow, the recording picked it up, and I probably played that section 100 times, and I can't explain it other than there was someone there. Hester was there somehow, and Sybil and I were also chatting with video, but there was no one else in the room. It was only her. There's no explanation for this other than... No, I don't know. This is insane. I looked up the house that Sybil mentioned in the Halloween party story, and honestly, it wasn't that hard to find a house with both a murder and a colonial graveyard next to it, and a man named Thomas murdered his brother in that house. One of the only articles I was able to find about it said that the defendant has reportedly been irritated since being brought in by the police 2 months ago. He attributed this agitation to, quote, a leviathan that had followed him from his hometown. Thomas and his brother had fled from nowhere a few days before the murder. I don't know what to say. What am I supposed to say? Because this is crazy. I mean, I started this whole podcast as just a way to try to reach out to the people around me because I have been shutting myself out for so long, and now, what am I supposed to say to this? What's even happening? I don't know. Thank you for listening. I don't know what I'm going to do from here because how can I possibly move on from this? Apparently ghosts are real and there's something in town that caused someone to murder his brother. Oh my god. Of course, everything that you touch turns into a disaster. You made Jason leave our college and now you just pushed away your friend again. And everyone in your life, by the way. And ghosts are real. Ghosts are real. Wow, it's Halloween. What am I supposed to do? Oh my god. Oh my god. No. You know what? I have run from so many things in my life, and I'm not running from this. I'm not. If there is a Leviathan, if there's something in town that can cause someone to kill someone, I'm gonna find out what it is. Simple as that. I'm gonna investigate, and I'm going to stick with this because I have to. I have to.